There's a girl in my daughter's class who turned to her and said, "I wish I had strawberries. My mommy said they're too expensive." Kids are aware, it's obvious. My name is Rebecca Esch. I have done 11 years in Duval County Public Schools, and my child is enrolled in Duval County Public Schools right now. My husband moved here from Georgia about 15 years ago. We bought this house right about 5 years ago. My dad had passed away and left me a little bit of money, and I was able to get into the house with that. I probably wouldn't have been able to without that unfortunate blessing. We use all reusable things, napkins, so it ends up being a million things to fold, but we save a lot of money on buying paper towels and paper napkins. At the maybe mid last year, I was starting to think, okay, let's get our budget. Like, things are starting to seem like they're costing a lot of money. And then we changed what grocery store we were going to and stopped eating out, and it wasn't making a difference. Our pay hadn't changed, nothing had happened, but prices had been climbing to an effect that we were seeing it in large amounts.
Almost no other state was impacted by cost of living increases more than Florida during the post-pandemic home buying surge in the summer of 2021. From 20 to 2023, median home sale prices increased by 50% in Jacksonville, while rents rose more than 30%.
I think it's a tale of two stories, really. For people that are moving into the county, they see it as an opportunity for them to be able to kind of like have their own form of their life or their form of an American dream. But for a lot of the people that are living here, the rising cost of renting, being able to buy a house, is considerably higher than it was 2-3 years ago. So there is that natural friction that's starting to happen between being able to obtain your form of the American dream and whether or not you'll be priced out of it.
The biggest single thing that has affected the cost of living in Jacksonville are the policies of President Joe Biden. His policies that have been inflationary now year over year over year, now over year, have been cumulative, and the pressure is creating strain on average everyday working families.
My plan creates more jobs, creates more economic growth, and does more to make us competitive with the rest of the world than any other plan. That's what the American Rescue Plan does.
Since taking office in 2021, President Biden has proposed several policies aimed at addressing the high cost of living, including plans to lower housing costs for working families. Economic indicators show a growing economy that is strong on many measures. But almost all voters, even many Democrats, rate Biden's handling of the economy poorly.
People do view the economy from their own pocketbook. And all the economists want to say, oh, your pay is up higher than anyone else's in this period. But they're not seeing it. They're not feeling it. So that does kind of give a negative vibe overall to where the presidency is.
In 2020, Biden won the county 51% to 47%, but former President Trump won it 48% to 47% in 2016 against Hillary Clinton. And latest data show Trump is pulling ahead of Biden in Florida by 6 points.
The monthly cost of a typical mortgage has doubled under crooked Joe Biden. We will throw out Bidenomics and replace it very quickly with Maganomics. We like Maganomics.
Jacksonville is unique in a million different ways. Because we are a consolidated city and county, we're so much larger than any other city. So when you do a campaign, you're going everywhere in this giant county, and there's so many different unique needs.
We're pretty divided. We used to be a pretty red city. We're like a purple city in many ways now. So it'll come down to turnout. How many Democrats turn out, how many Republicans turn out. And a lot of that has to do with the excitement behind the candidate. In the candidates we have now, will have to do everything they can to turn out their base.
Many Americans cite concerns about the economy and the cost of living, but some say the candidates are focusing more on cultural issues than the ones that directly affect them.
Stop denying another core value of America, our diversity,
To vigorously enforce yesterday's Supreme Court ruling, I will eliminate all diversity, equity, and inclusion programs across the entire federal government.
This disconnect is contributing to voter fatigue and making some people less likely to turn out to vote.
I mean, look, in Florida, the issues should be jobs, tourism, property and casualty, insurance, and you don't often hear a lot of candidates talking about that. They're talking about more social type issues, more cultural type issues. Look, I'm a Republican, but I'm very moderate. 60% of the country is looking for answers to real issues, and I try to stay in that 60% area. And a lot of people are getting out on those fringes, and when those two fringes are yelling at each other, the 60% in the middle doesn't have a chance to be heard because they're too busy taking their kids to school, going to work, paying their taxes, going to church, coaching their kids' Little League, doing the things that regular, normal, productive citizens do.
My bike.
When things are going very poorly in your state and you're being told nationally there's nothing we can do about it, I feel like there's not a lot of motivation for people to hit the polls. I mean, Biden had definitely made some great impressions. For the most part, he's an okay guy, but I don't think that there's a lot of enthusiasm, especially for younger people that are hurting and have felt for generations that the boomers or anyone over a certain age, they're not listening. They're so out of touch. Their houses have been paid off for 20 years. I mean, I'm a diehard voter. I will hold my nose, but I will say this is probably the one that hurts. It hurts the most. This one, I'm not stoked on it at all.